Hey again, this is Calum from C.Gars Chester, and I've just got a last little part to do of my beginner's guide to pipe smoking. So we've seen how to fill it, how to light it, and how to prepare the various types of tobaccos, but there's one last little thing that comes right at the end, and that's cleaning and emptying your pipe. So really it's pretty straightforward. It's one of those you can't just sort of throw yourself at and you probably get it right, but just for the sake of being a completionist, I just wanted to do a little video on it. So when you get to the end of a bowl, if it smoked very well, depending on the type of tobacco, you might actually just be able to tip up your bowl, and a lot of it, with a bit of a pat, will fall out itself. But a lot of the time, even now after about 10 years of pipe smoking, I find I've still got a little bit of ash at the bottom of my bowl. So that's where your pipe tool comes in handy. They will all either have a shovel, I believe is the technical term, or a blade, which you can just scrape out any more stubborn bits with. But I did particularly pick this ashtray because it has what is known as a knocker. Yes, really. Which is just a little bit of cork that you can knock your pipe against. See that, and that'll bring out any extra. Oops, yeah, you can see there I definitely left some bits at the bottom that are unburned. But oh well. And that is now empty, but if you had any more, you just use your shovel or your blade to scrape out any excess. So that's emptying it. We have a completely empty pipe. So next is cleaning. You don't need to do this every single bowl. Once every few will generally suffice in my opinion, but it does depend on the strength of your tobacco, how fast you're smoking, and various other elements. And trust me, I didn't believe this until I experienced it myself when I was first trying a pipe. You will know when it needs cleaning, even if you're a complete novice. For as nice as a fresh pipe tastes, when they need cleaning, they do not hesitate to let you know. It's a very distinctive, very sharp taste that always reminds me of how I'd imagine privet would taste. I know that's weirdly specific, but it's a very distinct, very sharp taste. So as soon as you start getting that on your bowl, get your pipe cleaner out and give it a clean. So it's again pretty straightforward. Just take your pipe cleaner and run it all the way down. So it pokes out the end. You will have, there's a little hole at the bottom of the bowl where the smoke passes through to the stem. You want to make sure your pipe cleaner goes all the way through that. You should be able to see it poking through. I know you won't be able to see that on the camera, but I can show you anyway. You never know. So just make sure it goes through, and then just put it back out, and you should see. I have cleaned this relatively recently, so there's not a huge amount on there, but you will sometimes get ones where it's just caked all the way, and that's a sign that it really did need a clean. That is one way of doing it. With it being a straight pipe, that went through very easily, but some people prefer, especially with a bent pipe, it can be tricky to get the pipe clean all the way down and through the little hole without it glancing off and bending, in which case just take the pipe in two and you can just start from here. And then it's much easier to get it straight through the little hole. Word of advice though, if you are doing that, make sure your pipe is completely cooled before you take it apart, because the wood shrinks and expands slightly as it goes from hot and cold. And if you take it apart while it's still hot, you can cause it to loosen over time. It's not going to immediately ruin it if you do that, but it's a good thing to get in the habit of doing. And final word on this as well. See, I'm still getting some gunk on that actually, so this needed more of a clean than I realised. Just pop that off to the side. Some people, I'm aware as well, if you take your pipe in two like this, just chuck pipe cleaners everywhere naturally. It's just going through like this. Hopefully there won't be too much muck on this one. But some people like for a more thorough clean, pop it through like that, give it a wiggle back and forth. And then normally you'd have the end all sort of stained up, but I have just used like 2 or 3 pipe cleaners on this one. With a bit of tissue, grabbing over the end like that to stop it getting on your fingers, and then pulling it all the way through, and then you're not pulling the dirty end of the pipe cleaner back out through the mouthpiece. So that's all there really is to the basic cleaning of a pipe, which needs to be done regularly. But there is one other thing, and that is reaming your pipe. I've mentioned in previous videos the cake, as it's called, that builds up, which is that layer of carbon that builds up on the inside of your pipe. That mostly is a good thing. In small amounts it's good to keep your pipe burning, it's good for the health of the pipe in general, but if you don't ever do anything, it will keep on building and building and building, and even on a bowl this big, you'll get to a point where you can't even get a little finger in there, and it will eventually become basically unsmokable. So for cleaning that down, you can just use a knife to cut it away, but you've got to be very, very careful, especially using a sharp knife, because if you go too deep, you can easily slice into the wood itself, which, even if you don't know anything about pipes, you could probably guess isn't a good thing. So that's why these exist. This is a reamer, and these are specially designed so you can pop it in like that. The little arms will automatically spread out to the width, let's say width, diameter, the inside of the pipe, and then just turn it and it will scrape it down. Again, this is a fairly new pipe, I haven't used it that often, so it's not built up a huge cake yet, so there's not much to come down, so you will just have to use your imagination of it, but just pop it in and turn, and that will break down your the cake and help keep your pipe smokable for longer. So, personally, I think that covers more or less everything. All the basics, anyway. We're always interested to hear what you guys think, of course, so if you think there's anything else we could cover in these videos, we'd love to hear it. Pop a mention in the comments, or just give us a message, one of our social medias, or an email. We're all over the place, so get in touch some way and let us know if there's anything else you'd like us to cover. But other than that, I'm going to go back to doing my pipe and tobacco and maybe even some cigar reviews. But as I say, we'd be happy to do more of these if you just let us know. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.